Hello, and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Hobbii Friends Wool. This 100% wool yarn features 56 colors. The colorway that we chose is 52 Dusty Rose. This 50-gram skein with 100 meters or 109 yards works up as a worsted weight yarn. The suggested gauge on 4 to 4.5 millimeter needles is 18 stitches in 24 rows per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For my swatch, I will be using a 4.5 millimeter needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Hobbii Friends Wool using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Let's get started. For availability, we give Friends Wool a score of 1 out of 5. Located in Copenhagen, Denmark, Hobbii is an online craft store that features multiple different name brand lines of yarn in addition to other yarn brands as well. Friends Wool is a yarn that was released by Hobbii and is only sold on their website. However, they do offer worldwide shipping, and it didn't take too long for me to receive this yarn here in the US. We actually have an affiliate link to this yarn in the description below, where at no extra cost to you, you can support the channel if you'd like to make a purchase. For softness, we give it a score of 3.7 out of 5. When a yarn says that it is 100% wool, it's difficult to know how soft it is without more specifics. From experience, if a yarn that I want to try says that it is 100% wool, I won't buy more than one skein to know for certain that it will not irritate my skin. However, I would say that this 100% wool is pretty comparable to a Peruvian Highland wool. For comparison, it is less soft than Filcolana Peruvian, but noticeably softer than Sandnesgarn Pure Ghent. I would say that it's pretty comparable to the very popular Cascade 220. For a micron count or softness scale rating, Peruvian Highland wool, which I think this yarn is made of, is around a 27, which is about my scratchiness or the most rustic that my sensitive skin will allow. Even though this yarn is not superwash treated, it still has a nice hand. When knitting, often I can tell right away how itchy a yarn is going to be. My hands noticed the yarn as I worked with it, but it wasn't itchy or rough enough that I felt like I needed a break from it, if that makes sense. And I did notice it softened some after blocking. I, of course, have felt more rustic and also softer yarns than this one before, but I would consider it to be on the softer side of a happy medium. Peruvian Highland wool is a fiber that is light, soft, and easily absorbs moisture that will keep you nice and warm. It is also known for its breathability and will actively react to the changes in a body's temperature. For traction, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. I enjoyed working with this yarn. Similar to Cascade 220, I just couldn't believe that I was able to work with a more woolly yarn without it irritating my skin as I was working with it. It knitted up well for me, not too slippery and not too much grip on my nickel-plated needles. Now it does have some fairly short fibers sticking up, but they're not really noticeable. The high twist of this yarn also didn't give me any issues with splitting or coming apart. As you can probably imagine, this yarn looks and acts like a Peruvian Highland wool, but this one has that little bit of a softer hand. Whether you're a beginner or even a more experienced knitter, I think it has a great amount of traction and glide on the needles. For durability, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Because it is not superwash treated, you will need to hand wash your garments made with this yarn. The qualities of Peruvian Highland wool allow this yarn to have an increased amount of strength and is hardier than, for example, merino yarn. As the nature of wool, you may have some pilling and could experience some felting in high friction areas, so that is something to keep an eye out for. The website does mention that this yarn is feltable, so again, high heat, agitation, and moisture could cause your project to change in ways that you don't want it to. For cost, we give it a score of 4 out of 5. For being a 50-gram skein, you can expect to pay just $5 US per skein. This breaks down to about 4 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater would cost you about $50 US, depending on the day and the conversion rate to the dollar. So it's not the cheapest yarn in the world, but for the price, you're getting a very durable yarn that shouldn't cause irritation to sensitive skin. Overall, we give Hobbii Friends Wool a score of 3.54 out of 5. I know for sure that if it wasn't for the availability score, this yarn would rank so much higher. This workhorse of a yarn has a nice selection of colors, and I think it would be a great choice for so many different projects. So I had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use this yarn for a project of your own. The first pattern is Adult Popcorn Pullover by Studio Misha and Puff. This sweater has a generous fit, drop shoulder, and a cozy mock neck. Each panel piece is knit bottom up and flat. Then they are seamed and sewn together. If it were me, I would omit the edge stitches to be able to knit this fun pullover in my preferred method in the round. I honestly love the pink colorway that the sample is knit in, and I think that the colorway that we used in this video could make a nice, almost identical version to this one. The next pattern is the Hawthorn sweater by Carol Feller. This plush and squishy texture is knit bottom up and in the round. The yoke is then finished separately for the front and back. I am such a sucker for an all-over textured sweater, so I had to include this one as a recommendation. I also really love the high collar, broken rib, and back shoulder detailing. Honestly, this could be a fun pattern to try and knit backwards, so you could try and knit it top down instead if that is your preference. The last pattern is Timber Mittens by Agnes Brandels. This free pattern actually doesn't come in English, but I was able to copy and paste it to translate the pattern online. These mittens are knit bottom up on DPNs or magic loop in the round. First, the cuff ribbing, then the wedge for the thumb is created and put on hold, while the main body of the mittens are knitted and finished. Then the thumb is completed afterwards. This is actually a pattern I'm currently working on as a gift knit, and I'm happy to say that they are enjoyable and pretty quick to complete. Have you used Hobbii Friends Wool yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.